Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're taking a really deliberate dive into the psychology behind men who quietly walk away when love just isn't returned. You know the type, right? Have you ever noticed that some guys just never beg to be loved? They absolutely refuse to plead, they definitely aren't double texting you, and they just won't chase after endless reassurance. Let's find out exactly why that is.
So, why do some men completely refuse to chase a relationship that clearly isn't working? When their feelings aren't returned, they don't stick around and argue, they just step back. Well, psychology tells us this isn't accidental and it's certainly not heartless. It's actually deeply rooted in how they view love and, maybe more importantly, how they fiercely protect their own self-worth.
Okay, let's start with Section 1, the myth of cold hearts.
Society often jumps to conclusions here. If a man walks away easily, people automatically assume, well, he must have a cold heart, or maybe he never really cared in the first place. But the difference between begging for affection and quietly walking away is actually profound. Walking away is absolutely not a sign of an icy exterior. It's a massive reflection of self-worth. They aren't leaving because they feel nothing. They're leaving because they know their value.
Moving on to Section 2, love must be mutual. Think of it like a perfectly balanced scale.
Psychologically speaking, these men view relationships just like that balanced scale, requiring both individuals to actively choose three fundamental pillars: effort, care, and respect. I mean, think about it. If affection only exists when one person literally has to keep asking for it, that dynamic is completely out of whack. To these guys, love just isn't a solo campaign. It's a shared endeavor that both people have to opt into every single day.
Which brings us to this powerful idea: real commitment comes from willingness, not pressure, right? If you have to pressure someone to show they care, is it actually care? These men understand that real love just cannot be forced or negotiated like some sort of business deal. True commitment relies entirely on someone's natural, unforced desire to actually be there.
That leads us perfectly into Section 3, protecting your self-respect and preserving that core dignity.
Look, rejection hurts. There's just no denying the sting of it, and these men feel that pain just like anyone else does. But begging constantly damages your self-esteem. They have the psychological foresight to know that continuously pleading for someone's attention is just a slow, agonizing drain on their self-worth. So they consciously choose the acute, immediate pain of rejection over the chronic, lingering pain of losing their dignity.
Like the saying goes, respect for yourself is the foundation of every healthy relationship. This is absolutely crucial because their self-worth is constructed entirely internally. It doesn't constantly fluctuate based on whether or not someone else decides to choose them today. They fundamentally grasp that they would much rather lose a connection with someone else than ever lose respect for themselves.
Now for Section 4, accepting the uncontrollable. It's all about accepting reality.
Here's the harsh truth. You simply cannot force attraction. So you have to move your focus entirely to the actions you can actually control. Trying to change another person's feelings, that is a losing battle. No matter how much you care, you just can't force emotional attachment into existence. Men who really get this, they stop wasting their energy trying to change someone's mind. Instead, they just accept reality and move forward, focusing solely on managing their own actions and reactions.
Genuine love is freely given, never persuaded. If you ever find yourself building this huge courtroom-style argument for why someone should love you, honestly, you've already lost the plot. These men don't try to convince anyone. They simply present themselves authentically. And hey, if the love isn't freely given in return, they accept that outcome completely without debate.
Let's look at Section 5, investing where energy returns.
This brings up the concept of healthy personal boundaries, which basically means the practice of reserving your time and emotional energy for people who actually value them. Believing your attention should be appreciated, not demanded. This is the exact psychological mechanism they use to step back the very second they realize they're the only one investing in the connection. Your attention is incredibly valuable, right? If they find themselves overinvesting, that boundary acts like a tripwire, triggering an immediate step back.
When it comes to how they allocate their time and emotional energy, the breakdown is pretty ruthless but totally necessary. They dedicate the vast majority of their energy to relationships that feel balanced, and practically zero to chasing unavailable people. They completely avoid the exhausting drain of a one-sided dynamic. When they find a connection that actually feels reciprocal in effort, care, and respect, boom, that is exactly where they pour their time.
Finally, Section 6, the power of walking away and choosing peace.
Walking away definitely doesn't mean you stopped caring for the other person. It just means you started actively caring for yourself.
First, you have to recognize the immense emotional exhaustion of a one-sided relationship. Then you have to stop ignoring your own needs. And finally, you let go, simply because it is the healthier choice. Now, doing this requires an incredible amount of self-awareness, but choosing that healthier path is always, always worth it. Ultimately, peace is worth so much more than forced affection. The right relationship will never, ever require you to beg to be loved. To these men, internal peace is simply worth 100 times more than any forced affection they could wring out of an unbalanced dynamic. They know exactly what they bring to the table, and they know for a fact that begging fundamentally undermines the mutual respect they're looking for. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a rather provocative question to test your own emotional boundaries. Look closely at your own investments of time and energy right now. Are you chasing forced affection, or are you actually building a mutual connection? Understanding the psychology behind men who absolutely refuse to beg is a powerful reminder for all of us. Value your own peace, recognize your immense self-worth, and invest only where your energy is truly returned. Thanks so much for diving into this with me.